Corporate recruiter here to review your resume. The resume we have up first is, I don't know, you already failed. So I know that's kind of shocking where this person just put new grad software engineer backend and I said they already failed and they're rejected, but let me tell you why. When you apply for a job, and this is for everybody, not just software engineers, your resume needs to be tailored to that job title. If it is not tailored to that job title, it is a generalized resume, and generalized resumes never work. You need to have your resume tailored to the job title, not the job itself, the job title. Otherwise, it'll fail. But some industries, you need to break it down even further. So while software engineer is a job title, you actually need to break it down even further into backend Python, backend C#, backend Java, or front end, or full stack. Those are all different jobs. Each one of those is going to have different qualifications. So this is why this person already failed, is I don't know what kind of backend they are, and that matters more than anything. So I'm going to show you why. Recruiters only have 20 seconds to find what we need in the resume, and I'm going to see if maybe I can find enough stuff to move them forward. I know not all of these stacks by heart, but most of them pretty well. So we're going to start. Can I find what I need for 20 seconds? And go. Reduced incident documentation cycle from 3 weeks. Don't care about that. Okay, C#.net is good. An interactive JavaScript React is okay, but I don't care about that. Monitoring of Azure is okay. I don't know what Custo is, and I don't need it. Telemetry by TypeScript, and then JSON, which I don't need. React, and that's it. That's all I had. That is not enough. So what I assume this was, since the very first thing was a C#.net developer, which is something, so I can get that up. So what I need from a C#.net developer is as follows. .NET and C#, which I found. Good. So also, just letting you know, I need 75% of these. If I don't find 75% of these, then it's a rejection. So I'm going to take the stuff out that I found, so it's easier. Did I find .NET and C#? Yes. Good. Perfect. Did I find a little bit of front end? Kind of. I mean, there's TypeScript here, but I was really... No, there's JavaScript. Yeah, JavaScript is good. I still would need HTML and CSS. And React is probably nice to have, so I can count that. And Azure is cloud, so that's good. You did that one. And that's it. That's all I found. That means that in this entire thing, the only thing that I found were those 3 to 4 things. And if you notice, 3 to 4 is not 75%. Where's the SQL? Where's the MVS? Where's the Git, the Agile, RESTful APIs, the CI/CD, the rest of the front end, cross-functional, DevOps, ASP.NET, and I'm aware they put back end, so they may not have the front end part, but for C# developers, they really want front end for some reason too. I don't know why that is. I just see it. So that is why this person has failed, is because they just said backend developer resume. They don't specify. You need to be specific. The differences between a backend Java developer and a backend Python developer and a front-end developer and a full stack developer who works in Python is dramatically different from each other. And this is something that the hiring manager will be upset about. The recruiter may not even know that you need to pick a stack, but the hiring manager will be upset about it. So you need to pick a stack. That is like the most pertinent advice I can give a software engineer is pick a stack, make your resume based on that stack. If you can do multiple stacks, make multiple resumes for each of those. Then we get into the formatting of this, which is, if you notice, I only got down to about here. And the reason is this formatting is bad. It's not the worst ever, right? Like, you can it's still legible at least, but there's so much bolding that it makes it hard to read. So what you need to do is put this into one line, unbold it, don't bold anything here, don't put these little dashes, put the little whatever bullet point bullets, whatever they're called, and then make the rest of your resume look like this. This, easy to read. You can go farther down. You can see what you need to see, especially in something as dense as software engineering, because having reviewed plenty of software engineer resumes, y'all cram so much irrelevant stuff into your resumes that it is a nightmare to find what we need in the 20 seconds we have. And then this is how you do it. The link is below. That's how you'll find out. It's on my link tree. But yeah, so this is bad formatting, but not the worst. But a bigger issue is just you don't tell me enough stuff. Like, it's not relevant that you added Custo. It's not relevant for a C# for TypeScript. JavaScript is, nor is necessarily React. So I need you to focus because I need 75% of these. Otherwise, it's going to be a rejection, and that goes for everybody. So now you may be thinking, well, okay, I just have a skills section, which this person does all the way down here that nobody can read. The problem is we're not keyword hunting. We're qualification hunting. And a keyword is a part of a qualification, but a qualification is not a keyword. So what I need is the keyword, which would be these, plus how you use them, plus the reason or result of you using them, plus where you use them, which is why a skills section or summary doesn't count. So fix those things up, and you should be getting a lot more interviews. It's still going to be tough because getting your first job is always an absolute nightmare. But if you ever need more help, you can always join my live stream every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 11 a.m. PST at twitch.tv/headlessheadhunter. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Share it with your friends and family who need help with their job search. And let's go to the next resume. This is a resume of a full stack software engineer. So what do we need in a full stack software engineer? Well, degree, TypeScript, JavaScript, CSS, HTML, Node.js, Angular, Next.js, GraphQL, SQL, API, RESTful API, Cloud, Agile, CI/CD, cross-functionally, .NET or Python or Java, and bonus points for architecture, extra language, Git, and DevOps. That's it. So, can I find it in 20 seconds? This is a second submittal to me, so I am going to be extra harsh on this one, mainly because, I want to make sure you get a job. So, as soon as that plane finishes planing above the house, let's start this review and go. Scalable full stack, we're using React, JavaScript, TypeScript, HTML, CSS, and Node. Okay, good. Available Java boosting microservice application for your data codes and VIN numbers. Okay, need a little more. Use SQL and MySQL. You only need one of them. I know it's weird, but you do. Constructed a RESTful API to split PDF metadata. Applied object oriented. Okay, so this is close to what I need. I think you have the right idea. One, I think something is off in the formatting, and I believe that your spacing is off. It should be 10.5 Arial with 1.5 spacing. And two, I like what you did here. This is great. I really, really like this. It gives me an idea of what it is. You kind of lose me down here. So part of the problem with this is you want 3 keywords per bullet point, and you have about 4 bullet points that, only have about 1 thing in them each. So I believe that this is not bad. You just need to combine these. And I think you could probably change this to something that just says built scalable full stack solutions using TypeScript, JavaScript, HTML, CSS, React, and Node.js. And then again, you can delete this part, right? Responsive front-end interfaces for, and then you could just make it down here, multiple clients across automotive, compliance, and enterprise domains. So that would shrink this down a little bit. And then we get down to here, and I just need you to combine some of these. You have the right idea, right? Java's great, API's great, but the rest of this is just too long, and there's not enough. So we need to combine these. We need to probably combine these as well. I will say, like I said, this is better than it was before, if I remember right. But we can do more, right? You have the right idea. You're on the right track. This is probably a 1 in 70, maybe 1 in 65. And I think if you just shrunk some of these bullet points down and made it more concise and clear, you would get a much higher ratio. Although I don't know if you have, okay, so you only have a boot camp, so that will hurt it. But yeah, we just need to shrink it. That's your big issue, is just these are too long. I pontificate too much. Don't take my advice on that. Just make it so that it's quicker and punchier. Like, used SQL queries to construct a RESTful API microservices architecture along with Java. for our in an agile environment or something. So you are currently in my live stream, so I will help you out with this. But right now, much better attempt. I think the third time is going to be fantastic and practically no notes. But you're close to the finish line. Let's go to the next resume. This is a project manager position. So what we need from a project manager is details. Details. How you made things happen and why are arguably more important than the what in this case. So the very key thing I need to know is, how did you make it happen? Like, what did you do that made the thing happen, whatever the thing is, right? That's the most important thing, because your job is to make things happen. If there's a stoppage, you need to fix it. If there's whatever an issue, you gotta fix it. And how you fixed it is critical. So PMP, always nice to have in a project manager on CSM. Customers, stakeholders, agile, and then industry. And this is kind of the big one that I can't directly find, is each industry for a project manager is going to have very specific requirements, and I can't be in every industry. So as long as I'm able to tell what industry you're in, I'm going to count that as a pass. Then I want to see the number of team members you have, if it was matrixed or cross-functional, the number of projects along with the budget, and if you multitask. Project managers are one of the few people, along with other managers, that you can get away with putting numbers in your resume, and you do need to. It's one of the few people that, few jobs that you can actually use that with. And again, how did you use the resources for success? How did you influence people? And Jira, Confluence, and MS Project. So can I find that in 20 seconds? Don't know. Let's find out. Okay. LPT, industrial research, managed 3 projects using Agile workflows, Jira, project keep team aligned, deliver on time. Okay. Worked with cross-functional stakeholders to clarify goals and requirements, and determine a clear task scope. Close, ran weekly, what was done, what is next. Time setting, urgent tasks, and keeping them work moving. So the big problem with this is that if this was a software engineer, if this was an accountant, these would be fine. These would be fine bullet points for those jobs. Unfortunately, this is a project manager position, and I need to know how and what you did. And the problem here is I don't really see that. What projects, right? Like, what were the projects? You're too vague here. This is the good core of a sentence, right? Manage 3 projects using Agile workflows, Jira, and MS Project. Keep teams aligned, delivered on time. Okay, cool. But what projects? What was the budget? What were the amount of people at that project? This is where I need to know, and this is what is important for a project manager. A software engineer can get away with putting that. A manager or a project manager, which I know manager is different than a project manager, but resumes are structured the same, needs to show that. Worked with cross-functional stakeholders. Okay, cool. To clarify goals and requirements about what? And then turn them into clear tasks and scope. Why? I don't know. You didn't tell me. Ran weekly check-ins and wrote simple updates so stakeholders knew what was done, what was next, and what needed decisions. Mostly good, but about what? Again, these are like the core parts of it are there, but I need you to expand on it. So let me read what you wrote. I've been applying for half a year, around 400, 500 applications with no interviews, except for what I got through referrals, but no dice there. My previous work experience and degree makes me a bit of a generalist, so I don't know what to go for, and I've decided on 2 main things: supply chain, yeah, they're usually having people, and project program management. The resume I submitted is one I made yesterday based on your advice, so I don't know its ratio yet. I am international. Initially, my goal was consulting, but decided to drop that for now, considering no business analyst role want to hire people right now. I mean, it's just tough to get a job as an international in general. It's tough to get a job in general. I have some projects and internships that I put on my LinkedIn, but I didn't put it because it's all operations focused. Okay. Yeah. So again, this isn't, this is not a terrible resume. It's just, it's not enough for a project manager, because I need to know the how you did it, and I need to know the why you did it. And right now I don't know what you did. At no point do I know what those projects were. I don't know what the budget was. I don't know how many people were on those projects. That could be a project of you and your friend Bob, or it could be you and 300 other people that you were managing with a budget of $2 jillion. Like, I don't know you did not tell me. I will say it's going to be tough as an OPT anyway. Even with a fantastic resume, you're probably looking at a 1 in 100, which I hate to say. Before the Trump changes, it was about a 1 in 30 with my advice, but it's real tough. So I would, instead of just saying this, I would say, will not need sponsorship, for 3 years or something. Instead of 3-year work authorization, just say authorized to work in the United States for like 3 years. Another problem with this is, so with OPTs in particular, it's not as difficult as an H-1B. The problem is a lot of companies don't hire with the assumption that you're going to leave. They want you to stay. Whether or not they treat you fairly is an entirely different thing, and I'm not going to get into that because that's a whole thing. I'm saying from a psychological standpoint, unless it is a contract role, it is tough for a manager to pull the trigger on hiring somebody that is going to leave within 2 years. Now, you said 3 years, yeah, but you're going to be looking for sponsorship, and you will probably end up leaving beforehand. So, it's not impossible. People get it, but I want to be clear, it's going to be real tough. Now, you are in the chat right now, so I am going to go to the next resume here, but on my live stream, I'm going to help you out a little bit more. Next resume. This is a quantitative intern C++ dev. So, this is not the exact qualifications. I could not find your exact job title on LinkedIn, so this is sort of an in-between of the quantitative developer and the intern role, because that is what you're trying to go for. So you don't actually need all of this stuff. You need about 30 to 40% of this stuff up here, with the exception of the degree, the ability to work well with others, and takes direction and criticism. So that would count as a pass, mainly because interns don't need, well, all that stuff. They usually just need a basic understanding of the industry. So, and this is part of a basic understanding. Although I imagine since you said C++, we would remove the Python and replace it to C++ instead. So I can do that right now. All right, and 20 seconds. What is this person's ratio, by the way? This person has a unknown ratio. All right. So 20 seconds and go. I cannot read this. Oh, this is so small. Legacy system, level optimization, 80%. Feedback from, collaborative, fast-paced, incorporated, mentored 18 students, and Monte Carlo. And that's it. That's rejection. So, that is all I could find. I think I saw maybe work well with others out of the corner of my eye, but this is a bad format. This is so small. Y'all don't need to put your resume into one page. I want to be clear. It can go longer. Although a lot of this stuff is unnecessary, so it may not need to go longer. So, let me read what you wrote, which, oh my gosh, there's a lot here, which is good. I'd rather more than less. Final year university student searching for my internship. I previously had a really terrible resume, which was getting no responses, but thanks to your videos, I realized how irrelevant the information was. This is a fresh resume. Okay, this is not a good resume. I want to be clear. This is not my format at all. The relevant is, and I'm really hoping that this fully written resume will be the first step. This is not good either. This is not my system at all. I just want to say I really appreciate the content you're putting out. I appreciate that. On a side note, I do acknowledge I'm a little late to the cycle because most larger firms have closed their hiring window. Question I have is, the other reason I have too, is I recently discovered a passion for highly technical space, but time is limited. Either graduation is approaching or applications that would require a few months to pick up the skills required. Build resident projects. What should I do in this situation? Include a work in progress project? Yes, you should. Do a work in progress. It's fine. It's a project. You made it. It doesn't matter that it's a work in progress. It matters that you made it and you already did this stuff. So a work in progress is fine. But a bigger issue is this is an absolute nightmare, formatting wise, particularly. I probably have to shrink this down. Yeah, this is zoomed in. So don't do this. You need to delete this entire thing and do it again. You stated this is a new one based on my formula. I don't see anything here about that with the exception of maybe this. But if you noticed, I just read this and I didn't actually see this. This is why you don't want to bold stuff. Please never bold stuff. Your resume should look like this. This is what it should look like. The thing you have is so So hard to read. I could not find a single thing in there that I needed, except maybe NumPy, which I think was mainly for Python. So, like, where is your SQL? Don't see it. Where is a data set? Don't see it. Where is Snowflake or anything Snow? Where is Cloud? Where is Docker? Well, that would be probably more. Where is CI/CD? I don't see it. I can't find anything in this resume. Your resume is almost blank, right? Like, they're not architecting and implemented a high-performance financial simulation engine from scratch, replacing a legacy system with a modular, maintainable code base deployed to production using agile methodologies. So besides agile, how is that related at all? Because it's not. And I'm not saying that to be mean. I'm saying this is not related. If you look at the job descriptions, I will challenge you to find it where they say, I need you, Lee, what I need you to do is write a job description, and what you need to say is, if they have achieved less than 70% performance improvement through low-level optimization by designing an integer-based arithmetic system for precision-critical financial calculations, eliminating decimal overhead while maintaining correctness, I want you to move them forward. Nobody puts a job description like that. And if it's not in the job description, it's not related. You need to go back to the drawing board, and I need you to look at these internships and look at the qualifications, not the what your day will be like, not the responsibility, but look at the actual qualifications, because people don't. Like, you want to know one of the biggest secrets is nobody actually looks at the job description for about 15 of the same job and builds a resume based on it. Like, at no point is anything in here what they're asking for. None of it. And this does not look like this. And, you stated that this is a fresh resume. Well, this has nothing I need. This would. Obviously, the keywords would be wrong here because this is for a barista, but, like, you need to write your resume the same. But nobody's asking for you to mentor 18 students in specifically mathematics, reinforcing foundational CS concepts. No one's saying building a multi-threaded Monte Carlo simulation for engine pricing using Black Scholes European American options to learn financial derivatives and concurrent C++ programming. Maybe Monte Carlo. Everybody puts Monte Carlo. I've never seen a role actually ask for it, to be clear. I don't know why everybody puts that. I don't think I've ever seen a role ask for it. Build SSO strings. Nobody's asking for that. I need you to look. Like, this is you want to know the most critical part of your entire resume? It's the research you do before you make it. Because it does not matter how pretty it is. It doesn't matter how ugly it is. It doesn't matter how fast you are. If you don't have the qualifications they're looking for, which I don't think this has any, you're not going to be moved forward. So that's all I can do for this one. Again, I'm not trying to be mean. I just want you to have a realistic dose of reality so that you can actually get a job or internship. Next, resume. This is a resume of a mechanical design engineer. So what we need is degree, type of field, i.e. aerospace, aerospace, and the type of product, so like engines or thermal science. I think this person said they were agricultural, so I'd like to see stuff in agricultural, SolidWorks, AutoCAD, or Pro-E, finite element analysis, FEA. I don't know what CFD translates to, but CFD. Describing the products you worked on in a simple manner. I don't want you to see used a 13% 12 milliwatt voltage circuit to hyper flux capacitor. I want you to say, fixed our electrical circuits exploding problem. And common tools for that section of the industry, and driver's license. Weirdly enough, the driver's license, because a lot of them, they have you drive around fixing stuff sometimes, so, or going to other clients, so that's why. But I also say common tools because, again, I cannot be in every industry, and I don't off the top of my head know the common agricultural tools, and I'm not sure I could easily find that, but you should be able to if this is the job you want to do. So this person, unknown ratio, but let's see what I can do to find it in 20 seconds. And go. Okay, red flag. Degree good. C fastening concepts and automatic. Okay, good for all social structures and wind turbines. Pretty solid. Develop ship deck arrangement plans in AutoCAD with installation sequence software. Produce GDT compliant resident lists, packages, blah blah blah, and decline. So formatting is okay. I just need more, right? Like, I don't think this is terrible. This is not a garbage resume or anything. I just need a little bit more, I would say. And I wanted to state why this is a red flag. So it's not the Netherlands. I want to be very clear. I am a U.S.-based recruiter, and most entirely of my knowledge is in the U.S. I have gotten people jobs outside the U.S. quite a bit. Africa, Canada, EU, UK, and I think Australia as well. But sometimes some of it doesn't work, so I have to do everything here with a U.S. bent, which sometimes is incorrect. But in the United States specifically, if you put willing to relocate, you might as well have not submitted unless the role specifically states it, because it is a red flag. What you want to do instead in the US is say, moving to X by Y can move earlier. And the reason relocating is a red flag is, well, a lot of people say they will, and then push comes to shove, they don't. And new recruiters, myself, and a couple of other new hiring managers will believe willing to relocate until we have a candidate say, yeah, I can't do it, I'm sorry. And then we have to restart the process, and it takes us about 2 months again to restart because we'd already closed it out. They didn't start. It's like 3 weeks for the background and then start. Then we have to get the approval again. So it's an entire nightmare. So willing to relocate is a red flag. In the US, EU, maybe it's not. Then down here, mostly okay. Develop seafaring concepts, which I like in Autodesk, Inventor, and SolidWorks. I would prefer you tell me more about this and in simpler language, right? Like, not just sea fastening, like nautical concepts or something. Because, like, if you notice, they're usually broader. They're like aerospace or automobile or something. Sea fastening is probably a little too niche. For offshore steel structures and wind turbines, which I love, you tell me what this is. This is actually really good. Incorporating load cases and operational constraints to ensure safe patches. I don't know if this part is needed. Maybe in the roles you're applying to, but I don't think I've seen this. All you need to say is, developed whatever in concepts to ensure safe transport and installation. I don't know if this part is necessary right here. Then down here, developed a ship deck arrangement plans. Good. You tell me more about what you're building. That is easily understandable in AutoCAD. Ensuring compatibility with integration ship capacity. I just want a little bit more. And I think, again, every bullet point should have about 3. I guess that would count. So this one's okay. And produce GDT compliant technical drawings could matter. Material takeoff lists and bomb packages to fabric and enable efficient project execution. So again, this is not terrible. I think it's okay, but let me read what you wrote. Here is the new version of the CV I made watching your videos. I was obliged to work on digital products in the past due to industry constraints. Therefore, I pushed my irrelevant experience to the second paragraph to present career gaps. You don't need to worry about career gaps that much. It's really not a big deal, unless it's over 2 years. As you can see, I put a relevant experience up front and necessary and additional. Is this a good strategy? Also, I'm international and need a visa. Do you think writing it would hurt my interview chances? So first off, and you are in chat, so I can talk about these more. Are you applying in the U.S. at least? You need a visa before you can work, not before. They don't hire you to get a visa unless you're like literally world-class famous. You usually need to go to school in the U.S. and go from an OPT to an H-1B. Or if you're in the case of Australia, they have a very specific U.S.-based immigration status that will help. But if you are trying to get into the U.S. as your first job and you do not have a visa, I would recommend not, because not like politically or anything. I don't think they're going to do it. It's a nightmare for people with visas in the country to get a job. Now, maybe the Netherlands has assuming you're even going to the US. You could go to the EU. I do not know the EU's immigration laws. But most companies are not willing to take on a visa, let alone sponsor one from one person who does not have it. And I've seen plenty of fantastically talented people try to apply and say, yeah, I'll just need a visa. And it's like, we can't do that. you need a visa before you can work, not hire you and then you get one, with the exception of like the TN visa, because that's like a handshake at the border, and maybe something with Australia. But yeah, so I don't think these are bad. I will say this is a big red flag, and the fact that this is too specific may be a rejection. And also, I will say I would like some an element analysis or CFD, and maybe a little more tools for like down here. But the otherwise structure of this is fine. And then I don't need to know when you just graduated recently, so that's okay. This, you can just put the graduation date. So you don't need to tell us when you started, just that you graduated. So this can be deleted. This can be deleted. All I need to know is that you graduated. And then I will help you out more in the chat. But for everybody else, thank you all for watching. If you ever need more help, you can join my live stream every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 11 a.m. PST at twitch.tv/headlesshunter. And please share this with your friends and family. Like, comment, and subscribe. It really does help me out. And I will see you all in the next video to help you get ahead of your job search.